When it comes to retirement, one of the most difficult questions to answer is, how much can I adjust my spending? If you follow a withdrawal plan that is too rigid, you might find that you underspend for decades. But if you follow one that's too flexible, all of a sudden, you might have more volatility than you bargained for. In this video, broken down from a larger series, we're looking at two strategies that sit right in the middle, designed explicitly around how humans actually behave, not how spreadsheets assume we behave. Hey guys, what's up? These approaches are rules-based and they give you flexibility when your portfolio has earned it and gently nudge you in the right direction when you need a course correction. Morningstar highlights these withdrawal strategies as the ones that are most easy to live with for the real retiree. Withdrawal strategy number 4 is guardrails, also known as GITE and Clinger. The guardrail strategy tends to start with a normal withdrawal rate, but then rather than giving you a blind inflation adjustment every single year, it checks in if your withdrawal is drifting too far from the reality of your portfolio. If spending gets too aggressive, it forces a cut. If spending gets too conservative, it gives a raise. Think of this as cruise control for retirement. Let's say we have $1 million portfolio. We start with a 4% withdrawal or $40,000. So that's year 1. Let's look at two different paths. Scenario A, we have strong markets. Suppose the portfolio grows to $1.4 million by the start of year 2. Now, an inflation-adjusted withdrawal might be $41,000, and that'd be only about 3% of our portfolio. That's 25% lower than the original 4% withdrawal rate. Under the guardrail rules, that triggers a raise. You can take inflation plus an additional 10% increase. So, the new withdrawal would be $46,000. You get a raise because the portfolio earned it. But in scenario B, we run into bad markets. So we're going to flip the script here. Suppose the portfolio drops to $670,000. Again, the inflation-adjusted withdrawal might be about $41,000. But looking at our total portfolio, that's about a 6.1% withdrawal, far above the original 4%. So here, the guardrails could trigger a 10% spending cut. The new withdrawal would be about $37,000. It's not catastrophic, but it protects the portfolio when it matters most. The guardrails solve a major retirement problem. Often people wonder when and how they should adjust their spending. This system answers that question automatically. You spend more only when the portfolio can handle it. You spend less only when the risk is real. It avoids emotional decisions during market stress. Morningstar's research shows that guardrails meaningfully increase the rate of withdrawal that you can start your retirement with without increasing your risk of failure. The trade-off here is that this is not a set, it-and-forget-it plan. Your income will change over time. Your budget may require flexibility, and you have to accept periodic raises and cuts. Spending volatility is the price you pay for higher lifetime income and better portfolio alignment. If we were to compare this type of strategy to a fixed real withdrawal strategy, this gives us permission to start with a higher withdrawal rate. It also encourages people to spend their money, not simply preserve it. However, if we were to compare this to an RMD withdrawal strategy, we see that this method introduces more flexibility. It does leave larger balances behind, and it can feel more emotionally stable. So really, a guardrail strategy could be looked at as a middle ground strategy here. Guardrails are ideal for people who are willing to be engaged with their portfolios, who can tolerate spending changes, who want to balance between safety and lifestyle, and who have at least some level of income floor. Again, Social Security, maybe a pension. This might be the retiree who says, I want to spend confidently, but I don't want to be reckless. And withdrawal strategy number 8, the Vanguard floor and ceiling model. This strategy is really a refined version of the guardrail strategy, and it is designed to keep your spending intentional. Each year, spending can only increase by so much. That's the ceiling. And spending can only decrease by so much. That's the floor. You're still responding to the markets, but you're responding within boundaries. So we have $1 million portfolio with a 4% starting withdrawal, or $40,000. We'll assume inflation is 2.5%. The inflation-adjusted target for next year would give us a withdrawal of $41,000. Then Vanguard sets a ceiling on the increase, for example maybe plus 5%, and a floor on the decreases, For example, we'll say a negative 2.5%. Now imagine two outcomes with this portfolio. Let's say we have a strong market year. The portfolio does well. You could justify a much larger raise. Instead of letting spending jump dramatically, spending increase is capped. The retiree gets a measured raise, not a lifestyle leap. This prevents overspending after short-term wins. But what about a bad market year? Say your portfolio drops sharply. Instead of forcing a big spending cut, the floor limits how much spending can fall. The retiree absorbs a small, controlled adjustment. This avoids panic-level belt-tightening. This strategy is really designed around human behavior, and it acknowledges two truths. Number one, people don't like big spending cuts. And number two, people often are tempted to give themselves a big raise when the market performs incredibly well, but tend to regret that later on. So, Vanguard creates a system that responds to markets, respects inflation, and prevents emotional overreaction. Morningstar highlights this approach as one of the most behavioral realistic withdrawal strategies, really one that people find easy to live with. Keep in mind, there are trade-offs here. There are more rules to follow. There is slightly lower upside in strong markets. There's less maximized lifetime spending than an aggressive system. Rather than maximizing how much of the upside you're capturing, you're valuing consistency and peace of mind. This strategy fits people who want flexibility with limits, who value emotional stability, who don't want wild income swings, and who prefer rules over gut reactions. This is really the retiree who says, I'm okay adjusting, but I don't want my entire retirement to be dictated by the headlines. So, what is your ideal withdrawal strategy? Did you hear about any new ones today? Leave your thoughts down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye!